Hello, welcome in for our collective card pull for this next week ahead. We're coming in here into the second week of July. It's Sunday evening, just about 6 o'clock as I'm coming on. And it's definitely been a full-on weekend here. We've had Independence Day and a long holiday weekend here with a lot of moving parts. Kids are going to camp tomorrow. Woohoo! So we are poised for stepping into some new routines and such. So with that, I wanted to be sure to come in and pull our cards so we can see what's coming in collectively for this week ahead. Some significant aspects that we're going to talk about in the energetic weather that we're coming into, kicking things off on Monday, 7/7 with that 7/7 portal, and a really significant aspect to talk about, which is Uranus and Gemini. So we're going to talk about that. Then we have on Thursday a full moon in Capricorn, the first lunation of the month that we'll be tuning in for. And that is why we have our Queen of the Moon Oracle deck here to join our two beautiful decks that we are diving into this month. Queen of the Moon Oracle is going to give us an overlighting energy for this full moon in Capricorn. That will, of course, be the card that I build on for the full moon empowerment reading that I'll be recording this week for everyone already with me for the July empowerment pack. And of course, anyone who would like to join us, you may check out the full moon empowerment reading, a great way for you to tune into a particular lunation, get that full length part 1 where we're going to talk about this card, build on it with a spread and some oracle cards, a ritual for you to check out for the full moon and other messages. And then part 2, your personal card pulls for working with this full moon. So that's happening. And then of course, these two gorgeous decks I mentioned are Astral Mermaid Tarot and Whispers of the Ocean Oracle, which are really delivering some amazing messages so far. So without further ado, we're going to get right on into this with the Astral Mermaid Tarot. I'm going to shuffle up here, setting an intention for the collective, for the highest available guidance at this time, understanding and bringing in perspective for all of the things that are in flow at this time and in motion. And again, as we are bringing in the waves and moving through those energies, let's see what's coming forward here with this 5-card spread for the week ahead, starting with Monday. Kicking us off, see what wants to come forward here. 1 card for Monday. Ooh, 9 of Wands, 9 of Fire, beautiful orange energy popping there. I'm definitely feeling that Leo energy through this card, like a fiery energy with this orange glow, but also getting a little Metatron there too, in terms of connection and attunement with those energies, which is calling for some perseverance and resilience. You know, that number 9 gives us that energy of not giving up and pushing on, pressing on through some difficult and also significant energies that we've been, kind of building up to and are stepping into. So we'll talk a little bit about that here, hoping this week to come in and expand some more around some of these significant aspects that are taking place, which are setting us up for the next 7 years. So we'll talk a little bit about that here tonight. Second card is Tuesday's energy for a potential block or challenge this week. What's coming up around that? Potential, I got to swirl around there one more time. Potential block or challenge. There we go. Ooh, Justice. Yes, I saw this card last week in some of the empowerment pack readings for people's month ahead energies. This is a significant, I mentioned Metatron. This is card number 11. This is justice energy of weighing out those scales. And I'm definitely getting an as above, so below energy here. If you can see, if it's coming out. This is really a stunning card, and also tapping into some energies of, weighing out that the heart against the feather when it comes to the lightness of the heart and releasing and letting go and shedding and all the layers and bringing in this balance, justice coming in. Yeah, ears are ringing. Let me just bring over Metatron. I'm definitely feeling that here. See what I mean? And that 11 was just to underscore that. So we will take that to bring in some flame attunement connection energy here for this divinely timed moment in time that we are in now. Yeah, with that Justice card, significant energy. Challenge for sure. Okay, Wednesday represents our midweek blessing. A midweek blessing coming in for us here Wednesday. See what's coming up. Ooh, more fire, more orange. Feeling this 7 of fire, 7 of wands, 9 of wands, and 7 of wands. And 7 of wands is calling for some boundaries, some protection around the perimeter. We see what look to be some sharks kind of circling here. So what do we need to know that's coming in as a blessing with our ability to create some of that protective energy in and around that? Wow, definitely feeling that this color scheme. Let's see what Thursday brings us, which is the full moon on Thursday. So we're going to pull our Thursday tarot card, and then we will move into pulling that Queen of the Moon oracle energy while we're here for Thursday. See what's coming in around this full moon in Capricorn. Thursday represents how we are growing. Ooh, another major. Wow. This is the teacher, the Hierophant. I'm getting like some Egyptian vibes and wanted to speak to this energy of, and I never say it properly, but I think it's Ma'at, but it's the mythos around the weighing of the heart versus the feather in the afterlife, and that being a part of ancient Egyptian lore. And this is giving me the same through this lens of the teacher, through the Hierophant, through this expansion into higher learning. And wow, look how striking with the key going right through the chest there, unlocking the heart being the key. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do this now actually. Although I know this one doesn't like to light. I wanted to light my candles, and just kind of saying as an aside, bringing in, every heartfelt thought, prayer, sending everything towards Texas at this time where they are dealing with the horrific flooding and energies of search and rescue at this time. But I just want to show you, this is how it works for me. So I had intuitively gotten a hit. I wanted to bring these over. I didn't do it. So I get another nudge. See what I mean? That's what I mean. So it speaks to me through signs, symbols, confirmations, frequencies that bring in familiarities, so these, I had wanted to light these candles and I thought, I'll just light the candle there, but I'm going to bring these in, and don't mind me. You know what? I'm going to bring in, they're going to have to sit on the edge here. Yeah, that's good. I happen to know that this one doesn't like to light, so we'll see what happens there. When I had these out the other month, but maybe we'll get some. Oh, look what I did. I blew out the other candle. Interesting. I'm letting all of this inform what the messages are. So we're coming into, this is all happening on the Thursday card with the Hierophant, with this master teacher energy, higher learning, being the teacher and the student, and allowing ourselves to be teachable, let's say. Let's be open. Yeah, we'll start with a new one here. You're really getting this live in progress. Just want to at least get the one candle lit, if not the other. There's something about this one that's not very agreeable to being lit. And I think that's a message in and of itself, because one of the things I like to say about the Hierophant is that we're all in different places in spiritual garden and learning, and that's not going to want to light. Being where you are. Typically, with the Hierophant, and I love that it has the waves behind it. Sometimes we do see the steps. that typically what we find is that people are on all different steps, when it comes to spiritual ascension, and allowing people to be where they are and be where you are and recognize that we're all in different places. And so this candle is lighting with no problem. This one, not so much. But point being that I got the nod there through this energy. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to bring this over. Maybe we can do it like this. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we can bring that light into the space. Thank you for being here with me through all of my zhuzhing. We shall see what wants to come forward. I'm not going to give up on that candle. I will get it lit again. And hopefully before this other one gets too far along, since it's burned a few times without the other. Okay, bringing it in here. That Hierophant, sorry, that really got me. Let's see what's coming in from the energies of the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Queen of the Moon Oracle, what's coming forward for us for this lunation for full moon in Capricorn, overlighting energy that we will explore in the full moon empowerment reading. What's coming forward? Let's see. Talk about steps and ascension, the path, beautiful. Card number 8. Bringing in that frequency of 8, of infinity, of manifestation, of creation, but also, like I said, everybody's in a different place, and wrong over wrong, hand over hand, climbing up one thing at a bit. But one thing I'm seeing here is this will be on the other side of the 7/7 portal that we're coming through starting Monday. Energy that we're then riding into the Lion's Gate, which will be kicking off later this month and into August for that 8/8 culmination. And so anyway, we'll see where it takes us, but the path is coming in to set that tone for us with this full moon. So let's see where that goes. And now we're going to just zhuzh a little room for our last card, which will be Friday. And then, of course, we'll pull our oracle card from Whispers of the Ocean to put a punctuation mark on the week. One card, please, for Friday to wrap it all up. A card for Friday. Ooh, wow. Okay. So we had 3 majors and 2 fires this week. The Emperor. This is also a fiery energy for Mars, bringing in this masculine energy, the divine father energy, the structure, the stability, the strategy of an emperor. So we've got that energy coming in to punctuate this week. So I do think there's some teaching, some lessons, some things that are unfolding here for us collectively. And will continue. Like I said, we're going to speak here in a moment about the very significant energies that are happening starting Monday, 7/7, and moving into a 7-year stretch. So we'll talk about that. Okay, let's get our final card here. One last card to punctuate the messages. Oh, just saw that card actually in a personal card pull for someone. Oy, oy, oy. Guys, the struggle is real over here. Let me tell you. Ooh, riding those waves. Okay. One card here, please, to punctuate our energies for this week. One last message for us through this beautiful, beautiful deck. Let's see. Something wants to come forward. One card, please. There we go. Ooh, every step counts. There is an advantage to taking things slowly. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. Well, that feels very aligned with all of the retrograde energies that we'll be moving through here this month. Already this month we have Neptune retrograde and some others that will be joining just on the other side of this week and beyond. So we will talk about that as well. But for now, let's break it down with some astrological weather, some of these cosmic energies we're stepping into, and we'll be right back. Well, would you look at that as I come in here for some energetic weather? The candle has persisted, and I persisted and got it lit in the tiniest little flicker, our candle on the left-hand side, and then it just erupted into the most beautiful flame. So very symbolic to me of energy levels that are fluctuating over here, and just the symbolism of the flame and Metatron's energy coming in with us here for this week ahead in so many of the cards that we just brought forward from the card pulls. Now I want to talk for a moment about some of the energetic weather as well. So as I mentioned, Monday, 7/7, it is the 7/7 portal. And so this is bringing through some real spiritual significance that's amplifying the aspect that's happening this day, which I'm going to be also talking about here in a moment, Uranus and Gemini. These things are very connected as a portal, as a gateway, as this what we are stepping into now for the next 7 years. So yes, this number 7 is really coming forward and is quite remarkable here in the 7th month. On the 7th day, this portal opening up for the next 7 years of significance that we're going to talk about in a moment, but just how we can work with the 7/7 portal on its own. And now we have this supercharge of the Uranus and Gemini, really bringing forward a potent energy for transforming into what is to be a very exciting period of innovation and discovery. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius, and now as we come into the planet of transformation and change, Uranus bringing in sudden flashes of upgrades and insights and things that we will be experiencing over these coming years. This 7/7 portal can really amplifying Uranus's transformative power, which can enable some real profound shifts in perception, understanding, and knowledge. Really poised to download some wisdom here into our collective consciousness, which is bringing forth a new wave of cosmic awareness. And so this is bringing down masks that are falling away, illusions dissolving, where we are being called as a humanity to navigate our lives with greater discernment, distinguishing between truth and deception. So in these coming days, through this 7/7 portal, we may witness some unexpected twists and turns in the realms of technology, science, and communication. Breakthroughs in AI, quantum physics, innovative applications of technology, all redefining the perceived boundaries of human potential. So interesting that we have both the 9 and 7 of Wands coming up this week too. My goodness, these cards are making so much sense. The rapid pace of change is going to demand adaptability, creativity, and a willingness to think outside the box. Now, on a personal level, we may experience some deep spiritual, physical integration where our inner world is awakened to new truths and perspectives. Emotional and mental upgrades can enable us to access higher states of consciousness, embodying our true potential and expressing ourselves more authentically. So this portal, I told you, it's a lot. This portal is inviting us to engage in some deep introspection. Just in time for the full moon in Capricorn later this week, confronting our inner shadows, embracing our soul's wisdom. So in these days that have been building up to 7/7, and during the 7/7 gateway tomorrow as I'm recording this, and then after the 7/7 portal, whenever you're hearing this in divine timing, it can act as a conduit to bring more light within yourself. So it really is creating this opportunity while Uranus and Gemini conjuncting are dancing with this portal. So this is definitely a huge leap into this timeline that we've been talking about progress, innovation, and spiritual growth. Get ready to ride the wave of transformation as this here, the universe unleashing its creative potential, and we embark on a journey of discovery, revolution, and evolution. So the future is being written in the here and now. No wonder we've gotten the 2 and 3 of Wands on repeat. So we get to be these co-authors of this new chapter in human history. So it's pretty big stuff. Let's bring that in some context around Uranus and Gemini. Uranus, the planet of awakening and change, is moving into Gemini on July 7th, 7/7, unlocking a new 7-year cycle. This is for the first time in 84 years, okay? So Uranus moves, it takes 7 years to move through a sign in the zodiac. So 12 signs in the zodiac, it takes 84 years to come round again. It's been 84 years. I feel like a Titanic movie quote is happening right now if you're here for it. The movie Titanic, I digress. Okay, 84 years. And some extremely significant things have happened on the planet in the way of revolution. Each time that in the documented history of Uranus being in Gemini. So this is one of the biggest cosmic shakeups of 2025. Uranus is the planet of awakening and change, so it moving into Gemini indicates a new area of life that will be awakening and changing for us. So as we begin this new cycle, we also, of course, end an old cycle too, which was Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus entered Taurus in 2018. So if you have felt your life in flux since then, now this move of Uranus may bring some stability or to help you to know where you finally stand. So if you've made changes in your life since then, think back to 2018, you may now also be realizing the full potential and rewards of those moves. See, oftentimes it's not until it's done, transiting through a sign, that we really get to see the full effects of what all has taken place for us. So as you may now just begin to realize the full potential and rewards of Uranus in Taurus, now moving into Gemini may also spark innovations in, as mentioned, things like social media, communication, aviation, technology. But again, we may have to wait. And of course, with planets retrograde and so forth, we're dipping in, we're getting a little flavor with Uranus and Gemini. It's actually going to go into, Uranus will go into retrograde. So it's going to move back into Taurus later this year. And then will then more permanently move into Gemini in 2026. And then we will truly see this in action. So definitely more to stay tuned. When Uranus is done touring Gemini in 2033, again, think about just the logistics, like we're being teleported, 2018 to 2025, 2033, we will definitely be able to look back and see just how much our minds have evolved, changed, and grown. Big stuff, more to come. And then the other aspect to talk about this week, July 10th, the full moon in Capricorn. So the Capricorn full moon brings hard work, discipline, and responsibility. And while that all can sound a bit dull, this full moon will be encouraging us to get our lives in order. So we may be faced with, I see some, the tough teacher energy, the justice. I mean, there's so much coming up through our cards this week that are speaking to this. Encouraging us to get our lives in order. So we may be faced with some hard decisions, but keeping focused on the practical side of things can help. Now, of course, the full moon is generally a highly emotional time anyway, right? Where things rise to the surface. But, this Capricorn full moon is asking us to see things in a more black and white manner. So as Capricorn rules over Saturn, and Saturn is geared to station retrograde in just a few days on the other side of this full moon. That's the next planet retrograding, as I mentioned, it's coming up, Saturn retrograde. since that's coming just a few days after this full moon, we may also feel some Saturnian lessons rise up to challenge us. Saturn, of course, being that tough love, master teacher, the boundaries, this sense of order and discipline. No wonder we're ending the week with an emperor as well. Saturn gets a negative rap sometimes in astrology, but it is the Lord of Karma. And just like it brings lessons that can be hard, it also brings karmic rewards. So big stuff, guys. Strap in. We're riding these waves together, using our tools, letting ourselves just kind of grow in the flow here. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at our messages this week. I am actually going to start with our Whispers of the Ocean card to kind of lay that foundation out for us, and then enter into our tarot messages and, of course, that Queen of the Moon oracle. Let's take a look now. All right, we begin here with this beautiful card, number 10, Every Step Counts. So the Whispers of the Ocean, bringing in this message around there always being an advantage to taking things slowly, breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. So it's saying to take small steps towards your goals, fine-tune your approach, and look at the details of what it is you want right now. Be deliberate with your thoughts and strive to create a change in how you are feeling. You have complete control over how you are choosing to experience this situation. The hardest part of a new project is taking the first step. Self-doubt or your inner critic may hinder your progress. If you are considering a large project, you may be feeling overwhelmed. You may have too many ideas. Try to simplify what you want to achieve. Every endeavor has some sort of challenge, but the result is always worthwhile. Work toward doing something in support of your objective. 5 or 10 minutes of focused attention and effort will eventually bring about the results you are looking for. So yeah, this is definitely, I had to bring this up to the other side, I think, to the beginning to balance out that very much being described emperor energy at the end of the week, because that is about the discipline and the steps and the order and the strategy, but making it count. This is the nudie branch, which is also means the naked gill. So this beautiful sea creature that we see here is the naked gill, a type of sea slug, and it's often overlooked. Nudie branches are very small, beautiful organisms that can be found clinging to the tops of ocean arches or on the ocean floor. They show you how to move easily in emotional waters. Wow, beautiful. They represent moving at a slow, steady pace by grounding in attitude and philosophy. Constant effort and belief that you can do this will help you reach your targeted outcome. Continue to investigate how you feel about the current situation while moving slowly and surely toward your goal. Yeah, this is really powerful because it's like we can have some of this grounding energy throughout the spread. This Every Step Counts comes at the beginning now with this just kind of taking it one thing at a time. But we also have the Hierophant's energy and the Emperor's energy, and just feeling like there are guideposts all along the way. So let's bring up our full spread now so we can take a look at these tarot messages that are merging in here, but this is all feeling quite aligned. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. We have both of our candles. Look at this one for such a shy flame to get started. It is really boldly burning now. So as it goes, I'm going to begin our messages for this week ahead and see how far I get for those watching live or on Sunday. Of course, if you're catching this on the replay, if you're seeing this on the Empowerment Sharecast afterwards on my social media spaces, it will be seamless for you. But I'm going to see how far I get here with feeling into these messages, beginning with this definite ascension into where to from here. Energy coming in through the 9 of fire. We are definitely on the precipice of some significant energy coming in Monday. 7-7 gateway. And as we were just talking about in the energetic weather, this Uranus and Gemini transit that we'll be moving through for the next 7 years. So 9 of fire, bringing in those wands, bringing in the sparks, the creativity, the passion, and definitely connecting us in with Archangel Metatron and the flame. I mean, come on, you guys. I love it. Bringing in that flame connection and attunement to that energy. So balanced between your grounded energy and the fire sparked within your soul, you are ready. Nothing will defeat you. You are so in tune with your own self that the entity that is trying to bring you down does not stand a chance. It says, come at me, bro. I'm more than ready. I'm not stuck in this room with you. You are stuck in this room with me. So as I said, 9 of fire brings around a call for some being on defense a little bit, creating some of that, because he's got a little black eye. He's been beat up a little bit. There's been a lot going on. We see the volcano erupting in the background, just collectively, the energy, the things that we've been moving through. It is intense. It's significant, right? So we stand here poised for something on the other side that is just about here, but not quite. And so we persevere. So it says, just when you think you're getting ahead, another storm blows in. Stay determined and focused, right? You are committed to who you are as well as your spiritual beliefs. You may feel beaten down by the people and situations that surround you. You've passed the test of all tests that the universe has thrown at you, and you still persevere. You stand tall in what you believe in, and you give thanks to Source for always being there for you. Continue down your path. Align with your deep, activated confidence. Utilize self-discipline and keep your faith. Do not let others get to you. You may be exhausted, but know that you are almost at the finish line. Round up to that last bit of strength and ignite it into more. If you could only see how close you really are. Yeah, like I said, energetically, I'm really feeling this. I couldn't get the damn candle lit, which is just, like I said, it's me. I've shared before my struggles with anemia. I have chronic and persistent challenge with my iron levels, which directly translate into my energy stores and so much more. And I'm at that time of the year where I tend to take a nosedive. And so I have definitely been trying to crawl up out of that myself. And I have some things in motion to bring in the resources and some things, and also trying to try some new things, because enough already with the round and round of the constant same old story. Those of you that have been with me know, like, oh yeah, look at that. It's just about time for those iron infusions again. So I'm feeling that, but I feel a renewed sense of hope. I'm so excited that this candle lit. I can't tell you, because I was just like, it's just one more thing that's not going my way. And yet it feels so aligned. I mean, look at that Hierophant card. I was like, yes, of course. I was feeling that nudge to bring these 2 candles onto the altar. I didn't do it. So what happens? I get the card that shows it to me. And then, here we are on the other side, both flames boldly burning here. So let that be the spark that sets us into this space of figuring out, what we have room for, what we don't, what needs to go, what needs to come in, what's coming with, and we'll take it from there. But, we're getting some really strong major arcana cards, basically breaking up this fire that is giving us this guide along the way. Like every other card this week is a major arcana, and then we finish with a major arcana. So we've got significant energy coming into this significant time. Let's take a look then at the first significant card with Tuesday's energy. All right, Tuesday is bringing in a potential block or challenge, and we're looking to strike that balance, justice being served. This 11 energy coming in as above, so below, and weighing out, seeing what is heavy, what is light, what is feeling aligned, what is not, with this energy. And like I said the other day, because this card came up for someone in that card pull, I was saying like the double-headed merman is giving me Gemini energy regardless, associating that here with this card through the energy we were just talking about that's coming in this week quite significantly with Uranus and Gemini. So let's take a look and see what's coming in through the astral mermaid for this card. It says, there is your truth, their truth, and the real truth. And the fates see it all. Nothing goes unnoticed. At the end of your days, your heart will be weighed against the weight of a feather. Be mindful and live every day as consciously as you can. And it's saying in the upright, in a flow state, which again, I know this is a potential block or challenge. The flow state is every choice that you make has a consequence, right? Each decision that you make now will help you make better choices in the future based on your present outcome. So think before doing. Everything will come back to you in equal amounts. Balance is needed to help make the best choices for you. Now, in a challenge state, as we are tapping into here, it says answers come from all levels of reality. There is your truth and the real truth, or many truths. Find balance in your thinking. This is perfect for also, Mercury stationing retrograde next week. We have all this happening in the mind with our thoughts, with our understanding, with our communications. Find balance in your thinking. If you continue to do things the same way and consistently find yourself in the same painful situations, it is time to relook at your truth. Yes, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying some new things because I've had it. Like I'm tired of recreating the old over and over and over again. So I'm feeling that, and it's a challenge. It's difficult. But I feel like we're being empowered this week with some maybe tough lessons, but guidance around how we hold the key. And the Hierophant has that center, heart center. We'll talk about that in just a few cards. But now, again, coming in here through the answers, coming in through all levels, looking back at the truths, change your black and white thinking. Forgive your past mistakes and move forward. Ascend into the future with better intentions. How did you get to where you are now? What decisions did you consciously make that placed you in the situation that you now face? It is important for you to come to terms with this. The answer to this is that your way is your way out. You're responsible for the way that your life is now, emotions and all. This is not the time to feel sorry for yourself. Just like you got yourself into this, you can also get yourself out. Now, it is giving us a neutrality point of view, which is, looking to bring some equilibrium here to these scales to say, a pointing finger gets you nowhere, right? They say when you point one finger at them, you've got three pointing back at you, So we have this energy of taking responsibility being the best way forward. What could you have done differently? In what ways could you have been more conscious? In what ways could you have acted or spoken differently? What choices led to the choices that were the ultimate ending? What are the positives that you can pull from this? See the big picture so that you can learn what you needed to learn and move forward. Throw out the blame game, regardless of who you think won. So yeah, this is a big energy this week, and definitely one that can be challenging because it is requiring us to look at some hard truths, look at the hard, fast evidence. It's asking us to step into a position of accountability, right? And that can be tough love teaching going on. And like I said, we've got three of them here. Justice, Hierophant, and Emperor are definitely bringing in some of that tough love, just as Saturn is getting ready to station retrograde next week. So yes, we are going to be having to go back over this. And maybe the language should, to say have to go back over it. We're being invited to go back over some of these things so we can perhaps restore some more balance, equilibrium, and yes, even justice to the big picture. So that is unfolding and will continue to do so. Let's take a look at Wednesday's midweek blessing now. All right, Wednesday's midweek blessing, in case we needed one more invitation to take a look at things, to see where we may have some breaches and some need for boundaries. Seven of Fire, Seven of Wands comes in for Wednesday's midweek blessing. It's saying you are so ready for this. Nothing can bring you down. You are in an element of your own calming, meditative entrapment. Nothing can take you away from everything that you've worked so hard to create. You have been through the hardships and you know what you want. You are staying in your lane. You are cool, calm, and collected. 4D sharks, be gone. Be gone. So it's saying you're being challenged and tested. Do you have the strength to keep going? Do you believe in what you are fighting for? In order to move further into who you really are, life will throw situations at you that will test you. Any setbacks that show up along the way are just tests. Is what you are working on what you really want? Well, then prove it. Is that what you've created been produced with rock solid foundations? ? Or will it crumble when the times get tough? Overcome the hurdles that are put in front of you. Protect what you have created. So again, it's calling for some protection. It's calling for some coming back into center, into self. And I like how, they are sort of like giving zero about these sharks being around, because they are coming into the inside and feels very meditative and contemplative. But all the while, yes, we need to put up some practical boundaries, some obvious, maybe it seems obvious, maybe not, perimeters and guidelines and things. And that's the blessing, is sometimes in the feeling cornered, feeling stuck, feeling that we're in a position that we don't want to be in, can be the springboard, can be the thing that has us say enough, right? So if we're feeling like it's coming at us from all angles, or there's a lot going on, or we're feeling a little bit cornered, or, this could be the thing, that really initiates changing the tempo and getting into a space of calling the shots and setting the boundaries, and what is acceptable, what is not, and really living out some of these energies we're talking about, with bringing in some balance and some justice, if we will, into balancing light and shadow and all aspects. So, there's a blessing in that. And also letting ourselves be inspired. We've got Major Arcana, fire. So there's a lot of this. What do you desire? What are your passions? What lights you up? What excites you? What do you have to work with to get the fire going again, right? It was a challenge. I made a little bit of a mess. I got some soot on my hands. I got some wax dripping down. Like, it wasn't pretty, it was a little bit of an ordeal to get here. But nonetheless, it's shining now, right? Boldly. So there's definitely an invitation into shining that inner light. I mean, look at this thing. It's like showing off now. It is showing off from this one. This was the one that lit no problem. This was the one I struggled with. And now look at it. So I feel like it's so symbolic that this can be you, right? Even if we are feeling run down, discouraged, anything that feels less than shining our brightest light. In an instant, everything can change. And sometimes it can feel so hopeless and such a lost cause. And actually, things can just light up like that. So I think that, we're on this path to creating some really intentional framework. And yes, the foundations that we were asked to check to see. Like, did you set up a strong foundation? If not, get back in there. Take this time to have every step count. One thing at a time. Remember, and we're going to talk about yet to come, this ladder, this climb, hand over hand, wrong over wrong, taking it one step at a time. And we're getting this message, and it might seem a little tough, but at the same time, we're getting a lot of repetition, which is in of itself rather loving, because it's giving us opportunity after opportunity to see it from different angles and inviting us to shift our perspectives. So let's take a look at the next big one coming up with Thursday's Major Arcana energy. All right, Thursday bringing us in with this inspiring, matchy version of the Hierophant, the teacher. So beautiful. I love how that came together. And, this is a really powerful energy in the tarot. This is a Taurus energy as well. And as I mentioned, we're just now getting into where it could become more and more clear how Uranus in Taurus these last 7 years has impacted you and just what's come up for you there. And among some of the different areas in your life that may have been impacted by those energies, which don't necessarily like to be working together, because Uranus is, spontaneous and sudden and does these big sweeping things, whereas Taurus is slow and steady and consistent. And so those two things can be rather at odds. And so, like I said, I'm hoping to elaborate a little more about this energy, which will include a peek back to some of those overlighting themes as well. But just mentioning that, connection that's coming through with the Taurus and Uranus, but then also this heart-centered teacher that we see here, and this message of how are we growing? How have we grown through Uranus and Taurus? How are we growing? How may we grow with Uranus and Gemini now for the next 7? So it says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And through each realm of existence lie the answers and the teachers of each situation that you wish to learn about. Tap in. You always have access to your cosmic family and teachers. Whether the teacher be of Earth or in other realms of existence, you are being called to work with a teacher, a mentor, a guide, an ancestor, or a guiding authority. Be open to the new way of being and seeing the world around you. Not only are you ready to see with new eyes, but also your soul is preparing to ascend to a new level of consciousness. Get ready to expand, learn, and ignite. When the student is ready to expand, the teacher will appear. This is someone or something that will radically change your thought process, leaving you changed forever. What are you being drawn to learn? Wow. I mean, that was a perfect crossover from Taurus, steady, to shoom, big shifts, changes in thoughts, beliefs, in the mind. And so this is definitely bridging that energy of where we're coming from, how we've grown, where to from here. Let's check the neutrality prompt that comes in with this significant energy. What would life look like if you continued to feel the nudges to learn that new thing, but disregarded it? What would life look like if you gave in to those nudges? What do these nudges feel like? Where within your body do you feel them the most? Can you continue to go on in life feeling that, but acting like you don't? So those are some questions for contemplation for you that only you can answer, and perhaps only Uranus and Gemini can answer over these next coming days, weeks, months, and years. So we will definitely be talking more about that. This feels quite significant of energy. And like I said, very similar to the staircase, to the ladder, we have this energy of ascension coming in through the teacher. So let us be open to teaching, right? And to receiving, and also to, knowing that when we are ready, the teacher, whether it come in the form of a mentor, a guide, a knowingness, however it comes about, a situation or circumstance, it will surely arrive. So now let's take a look at the card that goes with bringing in our overlighting energy of the full moon in Capricorn that is also coming in at this time on Thursday. Let's take a look. So here we are with the Queen of the Moon oracle energy that's coming forward for this full moon in Capricorn happening on Thursday, along with the energies of that Hierophant. The path comes in here with this mantra: I am open and responsive to the opening of the way. So I'm open to it. I'm showing up. I'm here, present, teacher calling role here. And now allow the teacher to come forward, right? Be open to being teachable. That's really what I was feeling with that Hierophant, and now underscored here with the path. So again, this is the card we're going to deep dive in on the full moon empowerment reading that you're invited to join me for this week. but just kind of dipping in here. The way is open for you. The path is illuminated. Begin the journey now. Respond and take action. We must be courageous and move forward. So even if it is just from the bottom step, the time is now. We've got to step up, right? We've got to take a step. So we're definitely feeling that. And as I mentioned in the astrological weather, that Capricorn full moon just before Saturn stationing retrograde is going to bring in some of that tough love teacher energy, some of that structure, some of that lessons that, I am feeling that energy, just like our Oracle card 10, every step counts, like that sea slug, one thing at a time, but you got to take a step, right? Even if it's on that bottom rung of the ladder, you take that first step. So there are steps to be taken, hand over hand, wrong over wrong, and we will get into it much deeper in that full moon empowerment reading. So let's move on now to Friday's card, which is going to wrap it up for us this week. All right, finally we come to Friday's energy with, another major arcana, significant energy this week, the Emperor, card 4, bringing in the structure, bringing in the framework, bringing in that divine masculine father energy through the Emperor, also bringing some of that Mars fire there that we see. And there is this sense of, what is unfolding for us now and creating some structure and framework around it. So Friday wraps it all up saying, if you don't abide by the rules, then there is going to be trouble. Stay inside the boundaries. And if you don't know what they are, then ask. Okay, so we got 2 minor arcana, 2 fire energies, the 9 and the 7, that also said, you need some boundaries. You need some perimeter. You need some, to create some rules around what is acceptable and what's not. And the Emperor is definitely confirming that for us here. The stabilizing energy of the Emperor is bringing you back into alignment with self, capital S, self. Knowing your limits and expectations keep you from making unnecessary mistakes and taking wrong paths. You know your expectations. Do not question what you already know to be true. Trust the whispers that are being presented to you. Stand up for truth and honesty. You are on the right path, emanating your inner strength and confidence wherever you go. Your strength will not be questioned, for your exterior strength is visible for all to see. So, when you allow yourself to really anchor into that sense of self and, your parameters, then that is going to be something that is just in and of itself is going to help to create that barrier for you that others will pick up on because of that vibe that you are holding, is one of the messages I'm getting there. So this is going to have a neutrality prompt as well, because again, it's the 3rd significant energy card of this week. It says there is a fine line between harshness and truth. What would happen if you stated the truth in a way that brought more people to your corner rather than stating the truth with abruptness? What would that look like for you? If you are harsh in your words, how can you be softer? If you are always soft in your words, how can you bring more sternness to the table? Wow, well, that's definitely very resonant. I mean, the Hierophant too. I've told many times about my favorite version of the Hierophant comes from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, which is a deck that is one of my soul decks. It is always close at hand. It's actually right here. It's still hanging out on my moon altar over here because it is the deck that we used for the previous lunation, the new moon in Cancer. And so just to show you a card that I've spoken to many a times is this deck's version of the Hierophant, of the teacher. And yeah, it's also called Teach. So I'm just bringing it out so that you don't have to try to picture it. Just because I see it in my sleep doesn't mean you do. But I'm sure it's familiar to many of you. This beautiful version, which feels a little bit of a hybrid here between these 2 cards because of that stairwell going up. It's beautiful because a traditional Hierophant has that very... it looks like the Pope. It has this, framework of the old way and the old limiting structures and belief systems that are now crumbling to make way for new paradigms and new beliefs that are coming in that are very inclusive and expansive and much softer in the way that we see her here with this flower laying in her lap, the dog, and the children, which always have me asking, when you are delivering the tough messages, the tough lessons, or when you're receiving them, how would you like to receive them? Something like in the way of how we might speak to children or animals, the patience, the compassion that is easier for us to access when we're talking about children and animals. That's something that we have an opportunity to bring forward into all of our interactions. And it starts with ourselves. It starts with the way that we speak to ourselves. So while I know that this tough guy is trying to come in here with this structure, he actually did bring a very loving message in his own way to circle us back into the teacher and the teach energy, to bring that softness. And look, we even have that lavender lilac connection going on between the two, which feels like a nod to our soul star chakra. So I'm going to bring that energy in too while we finish out talking about the Emperor, not to sideswipe him there, but let's bring in the lavender soul star energy, inspired by this very vocal teacher that has been bringing in the flame, the candles, the pink and the purple. We'll bring in this soul star energy too. Love that. I'll put that on the full moon altar when I set that up this week for that empowerment reading. So the Emperor coming in with the tough love and everything that's bubbling up, everything that's coming in here, it's serving. And sometimes we need that, right? And so that's why that neutrality prompt is asking us to think about both sides. Like, how do we feel about people, stating truth with abruptness versus with a little more softness, and vice versa? And how are you speaking to others? So definitely opportunities for reflection here to build on as we move through this week. So I leave it here. I would say the best way to connect in for messages this week would be to come along for that full moon empowerment reading. Because it is such a full-on week, I'm not quite throwing it out there for endless card pulls because I don't know that I'll be able to circle back, since we will be diving in for that. I'm still wrapping up some of last week's kicking off the month energies as well. But please check in. Let me know how you are. How are you faring? What's coming up for you and how these cards may be resonating for you. I always love to hear that. And remember, we're all in different spaces. That's why we are riding these waves. Remember, happiness comes in waves, but so does sadness and grief and awareness and all the things, light and shadow, come in waves. So be where you are, ride your wave. But we have this beautiful opportunity to come in and support one another as well. And I think that these energies are really encouraging us to do so. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sending out love and light into the world and shining. And once again, just holding in our hearts and sending out love and peace and just prayer for all in the world who are in need of it. Of course, there's not even one all-encompassing tragedy in any given moment, but just letting these candles light the way for us, for all of us and for humanity. So I'm sending you all much love, light, and peace, and we shall talk soon.